Laws was born in Temple, Texas in 1943 and grew up in East Orange, New Jersey when his family moved to the East Coast. He was actually exposed to photography early on in his life. His father bought a lot of photography equipment in the late 1950s, and he used it with his father when he took pictures at a football game for the very first time. He continued to take photographs of his friends playing sports and enjoyed taking pictures of his favorite ball players. Laws started from a very young age and continued to show interest in photography. He even attended the German School of Photography in NYC in 1960. A year later, he received his first assignment for Sports Illustrated to photograph an 80-year-old sailor because he had photographed the monumental moment when Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's record at the Yankees. His first assignment went on to appear on the back cover of Sports Illustrated. In 1971, he had his first swimsuit shoot at the Bahamas, and 6 years later, he became a staff photographer at Sports Illustrated. Luce then became even more recognized for his work when he started to Shooting for Gold project with Fujifilm, leaving the staff. He even got to photograph Michael Jordan. Almost, if not all of Luce's photographs are of athletes and swimsuit models. For the athletes, he photographs were in action when they were at their climax in the game. Also, he took portraits of the athletes that were focused on the face and the body. As for the swimsuit models, he took glamorous shots and used both color and black and white photographs. For his shots of athletes, Luce liked to use action, liked to capture the moment of the athletes at their best. As for his shots of the swimsuit models, he portrayed glamour and beauty. This photograph is one of his famous works, and this was cause of Slam Dunk 88 and was taken at Chicago in 1988. And he displayed an athlete in action, as most if not all of his photographs portray. And this was also in color. This was of Bjorn Borg in New York City in 1978. And this is also captured in his action, and he liked to capture the moment of the athletes. And this was also of color. This is of Slater Sebastian Inset in Florida, and it was taken in 1991. And this is also in color. This is of Todd Torres at the Atlantic Olympics in 1996, and this definitely captured the action. And when he was at the actual competition and playing the game, and this is also in color. This is of the Phillies, and he always continued to love taking pictures of baseball players, and it was at Philadelphia in 1963, and again this was when he was at his climax of the game, and this is focused on his body, which is shown because the background is blurred, and in this picture he used black and white. This is my photograph, and I tried to copy his style where he focused at the middle of the game when the player was in action, which is what I'm doing with the badminton. And I'm also focusing on the face for the lighting. And this is it's also when it's in the middle of the game, and I was doing golf, and this is focused on the body. It is also a photograph of when in action, and this is focused on the body, and all three of those photographs were in color.